grinding, late night grinding. A lot of times people want what you got, people want your position, people want your spot, but they not willing to grind like you're willing to grind. It's 3:20 a.m. I'm outside, getting ready to go get to it. You feel me?
Thinking about lately, man. The last 5 years of my life, I'm 30 years old. So from 25 to 30, life changed drastically for me. I lost a parent. I lost an older brother. And I say lost because they didn't die. Their lives were taken from them. So that is a loss. You know, when someone else can inflict harm on you, that is a loss. The point that I want to talk about is when you level up in life. Oftentimes, guys, you want to level up in life. You want to do things that's going to put you in the position that's going to help you to win. But oftentimes when we do this, we end up looking in the mirror first and acknowledging our flaws. And after we look in the mirror and we acknowledge our flaws, then what ends up happening is we have to find mentors. We have to start working on it. And it could be very difficult because when we work so hard, we end up taking our attention away, sometimes from friends, family, and we have to say, oh, I can't focus on certain things right now that I used to focus on because I'm trying to do something else. You know, I'm trying to improve my life and become the better version of myself. And sometimes when we do that, you're going to end up losing friends. It's so difficult to even have a friend in this hostile environment. The environment we live in is very hostile, guys. We live in a system that's dominated by scarcity. By the mere fact, if you study capitalism or you even look at or experience the way things go, that scarcity has to be created in order for there to be rich people. There has to be poor people. In order for there to be a boss, there have to be other people who's desperate and who need money. I mean, that's just the way the game goes until we change it. So when you begin to improve your life, and oftentimes, since we live in an environment with scarcity, we tend to judge how well we're doing by material things. Now, sometimes a person may be jealous of you, not even because of some material thing. It's not because of your car, your house, or anything like that. Sometimes they could be jealous of you because they see something in you that either they wish that they had or that they used to have, but they lost that spark. And what's so heavy about this is, man, this can happen to anyone. You know, like one of my favorite stories in the Bible is in Genesis. And I just like it for the good literature, not even just for the religious part of it, but just it's an awesome story when you really start thinking about the different perspectives. It's Cain and Abel. In the story in the Bible, and I'll try to summarize it pretty quickly, Cain and Abel were asked, they were the first children of Adam and Eve, and they were asked to give an offering or a sacrifice to God. when they gave their sacrifice, Abel was a herder of animals, and Cain was a farmer. He had crops. Abel decided that he was going to sacrifice his best animal to God. And when they was to sacrifice, they were going to throw it into a fire. And it was basically, they would know how pleased God was by the flame that the fire made, how big it became. Abel was like, yeah, I'm gonna sacrifice my best goat. Cain looked at Abel like, man, you tripping. Like, what's wrong with you? Why would you sacrifice your best goat or your best animal? And so Cain decided that he was going to give something that was less important, a crop that was already expired, basically stale. So when they threw it into the fire, Abel's made a bigger flame. And Abel received praise for that, we could assume. And Cain became jealous of his brother because his brother made a greater sacrifice. But he wanted the same results. He wanted the same results, but he wasn't willing to put in the work. And so you know how the story goes. Cain ended up striking Abel and ending his life. After he did that, he had no remorse. He became so jealous of his brother that he ended his life. Now, what I often think about when I read that story is what happens next. God comes in the story as a third person, as a third party. And he asks Cain, like, hey, where's Abel? And Cain says, basically, from the translation that I read, I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper? As in, am I his daddy, basically? Am I his boss? I don't know where he is. He didn't even have remorse. He's talking to God this way. Oftentimes I think about what Cain could have did differently. What if Cain would have just told the truth and told his brother, when you sacrifice your best animal, or you gave a greater sacrifice, that made me jealous. That made me feel less than. It made me feel insecure. Sometimes, guys, we just gotta be honest. We're not, and sometimes I read the story. Sometimes in our lives, guys, we're going to be able, where we give a greater sacrifice and someone is going to be jealous of us. But lo and behold, sometimes we can also be Cain. I repeat, sometimes we can also be Cain. I'm capable of being Cain. The death doesn't have to be literal. Sometimes it's metaphorical. Sometimes we become jealous of our loved ones. Jealous is a natural emotion. We get jealous from time to time. That's natural. You may get jealous. Sometimes we always want to, like when we read these stories, we always want to look at the person that was wrong and put ourselves in their position, like we're all able. No, sometimes we could be Cain. Sometimes we could be jealous. We got to be honest about that. And so what could he have done to change that? He could have talked to his brother and just told him the truth. Peace.